Hi teachers, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to fill out your Fountas and Pinnell District Data Tracker. The first thing you'll want to do is log into your OKCPS Google Drive account. The easiest way to get there is by going to Staff Tools from the OKCPS homepage and then clicking on Google Drive right here at the top. It will prompt you to enter your OKCPS email address and your password, which is the same one that you use to log into your computer. Once you're in your Google Drive account, it'll look something like this. You'll want to click on your Shared With Me folder and click on the spreadsheet or the folder that your principal has shared with you. It's either going to say FNP Data and your school's name. If it's the entire folder, you're going to want to go to your specific grade level, find whatever grade level you teach and open that file. Or your principal might have just shared with you your specific grade level spreadsheet. So whichever method your principal chose, find your FNP Data spreadsheet within either the folder or directly from the shared spreadsheet. Once you're in your spreadsheet, you will see this exact page should pop up. It walks you through on this very first tab. It's called Directions. It walks you through step by step exactly how to fill out this spreadsheet, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Take a peek though before you ever start filling out this spreadsheet at this very first page. This chart here is the Fountas and Pinnell instructional level, grade level expectations. So up here at the top it tells you that the aqua blue row tells you where a student should be throughout the year if they are on grade level. So for instance, second grade, if a second grader comes to me at the beginning of the year, for them to be on grade level, they would be entering at a level J. At the end of the year, that they should be at a level M if they are on grade level. There's a key down here at the bottom that tells you what the other colors mean. So that's something important to note before we begin. All right, so the very first step is to find your name at the bottom of the spreadsheet. So on your spreadsheet, rather than saying teacher 1, 2, 3, and so on, you should see your name. If you don't see your name or it's spelled wrong, you can simply right-click on or double-click on the tab and rename it and change the name. So I'm going to start off here in Teacher 2. The next step after I find my tab is to enter in my data in rows 3 through 5. So my school name, my name, and the grade level I teach. The next step is to enter your student ID numbers. I'm going to enter one in that I know. 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice it's thinking up here on the right, and if you give it just a second, it will pre-populate your students' names. So if you've entered the correct ID number, your students' names will automatically populate here. If you enter a number that is not a student ID number, or it's an incorrect number, you've transposed the numbers maybe, you're going to get this message that says check ID or enter name of new student. So if you've double checked that the ID number is in fact correct, then you'll want to go ahead and enter your student's name here. Okay. But as you go down and enter in your ID numbers, you can pull those directly from Infinite Campus from your gradebook and pop those in here. And those are all correct ID numbers if you pull them from there, so all of your students' names should pre-populate unless they're a brand new student or something like that. All right? The next step after you enter student ID numbers is to enter your student's end of year grade level goal in column F. Again, you'll want to use this chart right here. So if you're teaching second grade, here's your end of year in this very last column. This blue row tells me end of year for second grade is level M. End of year for fourth grade is level S, and so on. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet and enter, if I'm a second grade teacher, my end of year level goal is M. So I can continue typing the letter M and pressing enter, or I can highlight this cell and in this bottom right hand corner hover over the blue box. I get a plus sign and I can drag and drop and it will put in the same letter all the way down for all of your students. Okay. So even though some of you are individualizing goals for students specifically in your classroom, ideally we want students at the end of the year to at least be on their grade level goal or higher. We know that that's not necessarily realistic for all of our students, but for the purposes of this spreadsheet, we're going to use that chart at the front. Okay? So once you've gotten your end of year goals put in, you've gotten your student ID numbers put in, you want to go back and now start entering in the level, the instructional level that your students tested at the beginning of the year from that beginning of the year testing window. So you should have tested your students between September 19th and November 11th. So you're going to go and pop their letters in here. Maybe this kiddo was on an H and this one was on a J. So notice several things happened. It tells me that a level H is in a first grade reading range. It tells me a level J is within a second grade reading range. It also tells me that for this student to get to a level M by the end of the year, they will have to have grown 1.2 years as a reader, and this one is 3/4 of a year as a reader. Also notice that it pre-populated, it took whatever you put in column C here for beginning of the year and put it in over in this column for you, so you don't have to type it in twice. In January, you will reassess your kids, give them the benchmark assessment again with this running record between January 9th and January 31st, and you'll enter in their scores in the mid-year column. So let's say this kid has grown from an H to a K, and this one, J-H-I-J, maybe to an L. It tells you over here in the progress area that he has grown 0.7 years of growth, or made 0.7 years of growth, and this kiddo has grown a half a year already. It also tells you what current grade level they are on if they are currently reading at whatever level you've last put in. You'll follow the same process for end of year, and there's some optional columns in here because we know sometimes as teachers we want to go ahead and administer a formal benchmark assessment or a running record on our students. You only are required to do it 3 times a year, and of course remember too, to move students into other guided reading level groups or to move them up, you certainly don't need to do a formal benchmark assessment, though you have the option to, and if you were to, you could put that optional data in here. All right, I'm going to pull up another spreadsheet here that has some data that's already pre-populated. I'm going to show you one of the really cool features about these spreadsheets that our Planning, Research, and Evaluation department helped make happen for us. So if you check out this one that's already filled out for us, I'm going to go to the very last tab, which is Data Summary. You can see there are 3 teachers here, and if you look inside their spreadsheets, they've got their beginning, middle, and end of year data. On the Data Summary, this is the really neat part. It shows each teacher, it shows their class average at the beginning of the year, class average at the middle of the year, and class average at the end of the year. For every one of the grade level teachers. And then on the very end here, this last chart shows all of second graders as a whole. So all second graders in the whole grade level average was a 1.7 at the beginning of the year. Second graders average at mid-year was 2.1. And as a whole grade level, all second graders grade equivalency was a 2.8 at the end of the year. So really great data to use during your PLC. A couple of last minute really important details. The first one is if your principal shared the entire school's data folder with you, please do not move any spreadsheets out of that folder. If you remove or move any spreadsheets from the folder, everyone loses viewing or access to those spreadsheets. So please know not to move any of those spreadsheets from folders. Also, on the Directions tab, it tells you please do not make any changes to the spreadsheet, don't add any rows or cells or columns, and please don't delete any extra tabs here at the bottom. We want to make sure all formulas and functionality of the sheet remains intact. Also, a principal asked a great question. If a student withdraws from your class, rather than deleting their information from your spreadsheet, you're simply going to gray out their name. To do that, you click on their name, go up on the toolbar here to the paint bucket where it says fill color, and grab a gray to fill in that cell with gray color. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. I am happy to help.